Programming from newborn all the way through 5th grade. They get to be with kids their age, with leaders that are background checked. It's a safe place, it's a fun place where we can teach them about who Jesus is. So if you're new here, meet us here. We'll get you checked in. Your kids will get a name tag. You'll get a pickup tag. Nobody can pick them up without that. Our older kids get to do things like the fun slide. Our younger kids have a blast as well. If you need it, we have a mom's room for you available. Or if your kids are getting a little fussy in service, you can come here to the lobby and hang out with them there. Power Kids is an absolute blast.
We want the kids here at Grace to love being at church, and Power Kids is where they're going to find that love. All right, now that we're in our Power Kids area, I want to introduce you to Abby. Abby, why don't you tell us a little bit about VIP?
Yeah, of course. So VIP is a ministry designed to welcome and support people of all abilities. We create an environment where anyone can experience God's love and grow in their faith, no matter where they're at. You can find us right over here every Sunday at the Gent location, and it's a great place to get involved and connected and be a part of what's happening here at Grace.
Yeah, I'm so glad we have this as a part of our church. Let's keep exploring. This is where our middle schoolers hang out during the weekend. Let's go check out what they're up to. All right, we got a lot of stuff happening for middle school students as well. So Pastor John, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Absolutely. We have services for middle school students every single weekend at all the services here at the Student Center for your 6th grade through 8th grade students. Drop them off here. We'll have a great time. We talk about Jesus, play games. We have snacks. It's awesome stuff. Can't wait to see you guys here.
Every time I'm over here, I wish I was in middle school again. They're not going to want to miss it. All right, so it's going to be an amazing weekend. There's all kinds of stuff happening, but now it's time to settle in, right? Let's make sure everybody is where they need to be. Let's silence those cell phones, and let's prepare our hearts to see what God has for us. We'll focus in, and we'll be excited to see how Jesus meets us right where we're at.
Well, what's up, everybody? Buenas tardes. Thank you guys so much for making Grace part of your weekend. If we've never had the chance to meet before, my name is John, and I'm one of the pastors here on staff, but get to be your host here for this weekend, which is awesome. If this is one of your first times out to Grace, I want you to know that we are so excited that you are here, so excited that we have a special gift just for you out in the main lobby by that little desk that you might have walked by while coming in. Just a way to say thanks for giving us a shot and making us part of your weekend. One of the big things that we are here, that we are all about here at Grace is connecting outside of this room. And so one of the best ways that we want to offer all of those opportunities to connect is through our weekly. That's like the QR code that you'll kind of see on the back of your chairs. If you scan that, you'll get to see everything that is up and coming here at the Bath campus, and we would love for you to jump into any of that. Just a couple highlights from the weekly for this week. If you have never been part of Discovery, or maybe it's been a minute since then, it's basically like who we are as Grace, what we're all about, why we do what we do, and how we do it. We would love for you to be a part of that. That's actually going to be at our Montrose building next Sunday. They would love to have you out there. It's like 5 minutes down the road. We'd love for you to jump into that. So you can sign up through the weekly for that, or you can just show up. They'll take it as is. We would love for you to jump into that. Another thing that I just want to put a save the date so you can put this on your calendars is November 16th. We're going to be doing a communion service as a church family. So if you consider Grace your home, this is an awesome way to just kind of remember what Jesus has done for us. And if you are investigating Jesus, or you're just kind of investigating Grace, we'd love to have you come out and kind of like observe that as well. But that's coming up here November 16th. So go ahead and mark your calendars for that. Invite your friends out and your family out. It's going to be an awesome time. We are super excited. It is kicking into November, and this is no lie, one of my favorite weekends of the year, because tomorrow we get an extra hour of sleep, everybody. It's going to be amazing. But no, there's so much to be excited about around this time of year. It's officially like for any of my people who love Christmas, it's officially like go for it like season for Christmas music, which is awesome. Some of us, I see you shaking your heads. It's okay. Hobby Lobby, like you want to stay away from Hobby Lobby for the next couple months. But no, we're super excited about this season of the year. And if you didn't know, Grace is just part of like a big movement of churches. And so Pastor Jeff, our senior pastor, is actually out visiting some of our affiliate churches and campuses here this weekend. He's got like a little selfie video that he just shot this morning that he just wanted to give us an update with Corbin Hogue out in Greenville, South Carolina. So let's go ahead and check this out together.
Hey everybody, just wanted to say hi. I miss you guys this weekend, but I'm down here in Greenville, South Carolina with our affiliate church planner, Corbin Hogue.
How y'all doing?
And we're excited about what God is doing here. We started down here about 3 years ago, about 125 people already in a church plant. And just what's God doing here, and what's doing on the horizon with you?
So the thing that we are loving around here is watching God change lives. We just had a baptism last Sunday, and just people going public with their faith. And also, we are moving into a brand new building by the second week of December. So we are super excited about that.
So you guys know Corbin. He comes from us. He's our family, and doing an incredible job here with his wife Patricia and the kids. And so grateful for that. But thanks for supporting this. Thanks for being behind it. And I do miss you guys, but it's sunny and 60 down here. So, but we'll be home next weekend. All right, love y'all.
Nice. Well, we love getting to celebrate what God is doing through the movement here at Grace, even in places where the sun is shining and the heat can be felt. But no, we love getting to celebrate that. Like I said, there's a ton of awesome things that are happening here at Grace that we're super excited about. One of those actually being this weekend, we're going to be kicking into a new series of conversations. Pastor Josiah is going to be with us and kind of walking us through that, kicking that conversation off. So as service kind of kicks off, I would encourage you guys, go ahead and stand up, take a second, say hey to the people around you, maybe give them a crisp high five, and the band will kick us off here in a few seconds.
How could I forget you? covenant, faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you do just what you say. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I will remain steadfast. And then my heart, when you speak the word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. God from ages, the earth may pass away, your word remains the same. History can prove there's nothing you can't do. You're faithful and true. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I will remain steadfast. And let my heart speak the word will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me.
Thanks so much for singing with us. We're going to go ahead with our service. You guys can go and have a seat. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you. That was horrible. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you all. Welcome to Grace Church. Man, if we've never met before, oh, perfect. Thanks, Tim. Isn't Tim like the world's best bass player? And I just think you're goated, bro. Well, if we've never met before, my name is Josiah. I'm the young adults pastor at the church here. Yeah, thanks, guys. That's really exciting. I know the other half of the room was really bummed out during announcements when they found out that Big Jeff wasn't here. They're like, this could have been the one to skip, but you missed it. Ha ha. Anyways, but I am the young adults pastor here, and I will say, like every weekend, I'm always meeting people, newer people that are around, or people that have been around for a while that are young adults. And if you haven't checked out Collective, that is our young adult ministry at Grace Church. Thursday nights, if you're college age, Thursday nights is for you. And we just launched a brand new night, Tuesday nights, for like the post-college age group. So I was meeting people earlier in the lobby that are in that demographic. If you are 22 plus and a young adult, you definitely want to check out Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. We just started, so everybody's getting to know each other, and it's a really good time. But today, we are starting a brand new series of conversations. But before I tell you what this series is about, I just want to open with a story. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. When I was, you don't have a choice. You got to listen to this. Anyways, when I was a senior in high school, I went to this event. There was about 100 people at this event. We drove out into the middle of nowhere. I went with a bunch of my friends, and it was like this all-day thing. And at this event, they took us to this gigantic field, this gigantic open field, 100 people, and they played this game called the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome. Now, in this game, the Thunderdome, there were only two rules that they explained to us. The first rule was this. All of us were wearing different colored socks. There was 4 different colors of socks. And the purpose of the game, the rule of the game was, if you were on the blue team with the blue socks, you had to steal the green socks off the green team's feet. And so that was the whole part. And at the end of the game, you know, when it was all done, whichever team had acquired the most socks while preserving their own, they were the winners of the game. Okay, that was pretty cool. And the second rule, and I thought this was pretty fair, guys could only steal from guys, and girls could only steal from girls for obvious reasons. It was like an immediate bloodbath, you know. So we start this game, and everybody's, you know, just flying at each other, trying to steal each other's socks and all this kind of stuff. Well, I had this one friend who came with me to this event, and his name was Thomas, you know, like the tank engine. And I love Thomas to death. I love Thomas to death. But I don't have a nicer way of saying Thomas is crazy. You know, like Thomas, he's just kind of out there. You know, Thomas is just going to do his thing. Thomas is the kind of guy, maybe you have a friend like this, who gets super confused, but is like very confident in the thing that he's confused about. You get what I'm saying? So that's Thomas. Another thing you need to know about Thomas is partially blind. I have never seen a higher prescription glasses than Thomas. If you put on Thomas's glasses for 5 minutes, you too would need a prescription. You know, so like Thomas can't see anything. Now, we start playing this game. We're like a little bit into this game, 5-10 minutes into this game. And Thomas was, who knows where, doing Thomas stuff. And he starts wandering out to this field and sees all these people fighting each other. Now, mind you, Thomas had completely missed the entire rules of the game. He had no idea what was going on. So what did Thomas do? Thomas found this short, skinny girl with the buzzed head and just attacked her, like as aggressively as he could. He just knocks this girl to the ground and just starts attacking her. And we look at Thomas, we're like, Thomas, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? And we start trying to pry Thomas off this girl, and he just keeps swinging. And he goes, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. And we say, Thomas, stop. He goes, what? And we go, that's a girl. And he goes, oh, okay. And he finds someone else and attacks that person instead. So here's the point of the story. Here's the reason I tell you this story. When you don't understand the battle that you're in, you're not going to know how to fight it. When you don't understand the battle that you're in, you're not going to know who to fight or how to fight it. I want to give a statement for today that's fundamentally true, and I want to unpack this for a little bit. Every single one of us in this room has a battle that is happening inside of our minds every day. Every person in this room, I don't care how young or old you are, I don't care how immature or mature you are, every single one of us, no matter what phase of life, has a battle that's happening inside of our minds every single day. Many of us wake up every morning anxious, uncomfortable in our own skin, constantly tense, constantly worried. Many of us, our lives are plagued with insecurities, like these perpetual thoughts that will not go away. And these insecurities have kept us from making decisions that we need to make in life, from taking steps, from finding relationships, from finding people. We constantly feel like, other people are advancing in life and I am not. Many of us, this is me, just have the hardest time relaxing. I don't know if anyone in this room can relate, but I feel like anytime I sit down, and my heart rate goes down and all that kind of stuff, immediately what starts popping in my head is everything that's going wrong in work. Or like whatever the worst relationship in my life right now, whatever tension is going on, those thoughts start coming in. And you can never relax. Many of us are full of negative thinking. So you're cynical, or you're pessimistic, or you're skeptical. Many of us are fighting depression, currently fighting depression. I understand that very deeply. So you have no motivation to get out of bed, no motivation to work hard at your job, no motivation to even improve your life. And then many of us, it's horrible, have legitimate trauma that's happened to us at some point in our lives in the past that continue to plague us every single day. And I don't know what it is for you, but all of us just have a mental battle that's going on every day. But what's crazy about it is we all know that this is in our heads. Nothing is physically restraining us, yet for whatever reason, it seems to hold us back from the greatest parts about life. You know that if you could just get out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off, not the 17th time like me, if you could just get out of bed on time, your life would improve drastically. You know that your fears and insecurities are not based in reality. You know that. But for some reason, I can't seem to get them away. And here's why this is so important. So there's a pastor named Craig Groeschel. He gives this quote I think is really excellent. He says, your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If you don't think you're a very valuable person, you're not going to live your life like it has a lot of value. So instead, you're going to spend your time on unvaluable things. You're going to binge watch Netflix, constant doom scrolling, constant video games, whatever. Or you're going to let people trample all over you because you think that somehow that's what you deserve. If you don't think that you're going to amount to anything, you're not going to work very hard to amount to anything. If you think that everyone is against you, some of us have a view that everyone's against us, well, guess what? You're going to turn everybody against you by the way that you push people away. Whatever the thing you spend the most time thinking about, how am I succeeding? What do people think of me? Am I being treated fairly? How happy is my marriage? Whatever the thing that consumes my mind the most, that's going to determine the quality and the direction of my life. Now here's what's fascinating to me about our culture. I love our culture, but I think it's fascinating. In our modern scientific culture, we're gonna say that our mental battle is only a physical neurological problem and nothing more. That the battle that's going up on here, it's only physical, it's only neurological, and that's the extent of it. And essentially what we're saying, that's all mental health is. It comes from, unhealthy lifestyles or hormone imbalances or even, unhealthy upbringings. And because we think it's exclusively a physical problem, we only know physical solutions to try and solve that problem. So we look at the battle that's happening in our mind and we say, okay, physical problem, so we need a physical solution. Let's try a different workout routine. Or let's get on a different diet. Or maybe I need better sleep patterns. Maybe I need better relationships because, there's all the science that if you're connected to people, these benefits. Or maybe I need a different set of medication or to get on medication to begin with. And for the record, I think all of these things are really good things. I'm not knocking any of that. Don't hear me dissing any of that. But we also need to be honest about the fact that even though in our culture we are insistent on these types of solutions, our physical solutions don't seem to be fixing the problem. Did you know that there has never been a culture in the history of the world that is more educated on and more dedicated to healing mental health struggles than the United States of America? Did you know that? There's never been a culture in the history of the world that is more educated on and more dedicated to fixing mental health problems than our culture. Here's some stats for you. The U.S. leads the world in antidepressant consumption per capita. We are among the most willing to seek professional help and therapy for emotional distress, the most willing. In 2019, CNBC reported that spending on mental health treatment services reached $225 billion. The amount we're spending on mental health treatment, $225 billion. Now, that was before COVID. So if you look at all the stuff after COVID, all of that has gone up around another 50%, another $100 billion. Now, I know that we can always talk about having better access to mental health care. We can always talk about, raising more awareness, and I think that's all great. But here's what I want you to see. The United States has some of the best access to mental health care in the world. However, the United States also has some of the worst mental health related outcomes. We have some of the best access, and we have some of the worst outcomes. We have one of the highest suicide rates of a first world country. We have the second highest drug-related death rate. 75% of Americans experienced moderate to high stress levels in this past month. 75% of Americans would say they experienced high stress this month. 42% of the rising generation has received a mental health diagnosis. So that's the world that I work in. 42% of the people that I work with would have a mental health diagnosis, and almost 40% of Generation Z has received treatment for the diagnosis that they have. Yet, even with all of that treatment getting better and better and better and more accessible, our stats continue to get worse and worse and worse over time. So here, I'm not dogging medication, I'm not dogging therapy, I'm not knocking any of that. I believe all of those things are really helpful. Here's what I'm getting at. Physical solutions can only solve physical problems. Physical solutions can only solve physical problems. So, what if there's more to our mental battle problem than just the physical? What if there's another component to this whole thing? Because it really seems to me that we're missing something. Western culture, so our culture, Western culture, is the first culture in history to fully embrace what's called a materialistic worldview. And what that means is, in the name of science, we don't believe in anything outside of the physical world. And even for all of us who would say, I believe in God, we don't functionally act like there is anything outside of the physical world. So here's my absurd proposition for the day. What if there's a reality that we've closed our minds to? What if there's a reality that we've closed our minds to? We can't see the wind, but we can see the grass bending. What if there's a reality that we can't see? A world beyond the physical world, a metaphysical reality. If you got a Bible or you got a phone, we're going to be hanging out in Ephesians chapter 6. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. The Apostle Paul writes about this, and what he says I think is absolutely fascinating. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Here's what he says. He says, for our struggle, or our battle, our struggle is not actually against flesh and blood, the physical. But instead, it's against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. Against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. Here's what Paul is saying. There's a spiritual world that's fighting for your mind. There's a spiritual world that is fighting for your mind. Now, here's what I know when I say spiritual, people are like new agey and, that one, the professor in Harry Potter. Like, I get it. Yeah. Here's what I mean by spiritual. Can I be really specific? By spiritual, all I mean is that which is beyond or on top of the physical. So the metaphysical. So there is a metaphysical reality that is fighting for your mind. And in the mind of Paul and all the biblical authors, there's another dimension of reality that is layered on top of the one that we're existing in. So by spiritual world, I don't mean some world that's like way out there in space or in the heavens or something like. I mean like a world that's layered on top of ours, a dimension that we cannot see or cannot sense. Now, let me clarify something for all the skeptics. I'm very pro-science. So let me say this out loud. I'm very pro-science. I don't think religion and science are at odds. I also don't think all the scientists like come together and they're like, how do we deceive the Christians today? That's not my worldview. So I'm very pro-science. But I do think a lot of modern people and modern Americans have come to believe that if something can't be detected via the scientific process, by definition, that thing can't exist. And that's a very weird belief to hold because that belief in and of itself is an anti-science belief. Paul is trying to say this spiritual world, by definition, would not be able to be detected or proven through a scientific process because the scientific method can only measure physical realities. It would be like trying to detect plastic with a metal detector. You get what I'm saying? Now, this is hard for us to get our minds around because everything that you and I interact with all day, for the most part, is physical. We can feel it, we can touch it, we can smell it, we can sense it. Most of what we interact with is physical or material or can be measured, except one thing. There's one thing that all of us interact with every day that we all know is completely real. We completely know that's true without a shadow of a doubt, yet it is not physical in any way at all. In fact, you are using this thing right now. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Ideas, thoughts. There is something we interact with all the time. We all know it's true, but it is not physical. It cannot be detected, and that thing is thoughts. That thing is ideas. They're immaterial. They are a metaphysical reality. So wouldn't it make sense to you that the overlap between the physical world and the spiritual world would largely take place in our minds, where ideas exist? And if our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts, wouldn't it make sense that your mind would be the primary battleground for the spiritual world? Now, the authors of the Bible have been talking about this for thousands of years. Jesus says something fascinating. Jesus says, there is a power or an intelligence or a consciousness that is trying to destroy your life, but it's trying to destroy your life in a very specific way. It's trying to destroy your life by corrupting your thoughts. And this being is the very first spiritual creature, other than God, that we're told about in the very beginning of the Bible. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The devil. The devil. For the next few weeks, we're going to be in a series on the devil, and we're calling it The Enemy's Playbook. We're going to be talking about how does the devil corrupt our thoughts? What is his playbook? What is his strategies? Now, I know I lost a bunch of you, so can we talk about the devil for a second? Can we talk about the devil for a second? Because can I be real? So if I'm being honest, when I first started to really follow Jesus and really understand the Bible, beyond because my mommy told me, really understanding, there was nothing in the Bible that felt more out there and more far-fetched and more like this has got to be a metaphor, right, than the devil. If anything in all of the Bible was going to be like a myth, it's got to be that. And so I know there's a bunch of us in this room that are thinking, Josiah, there's no way you believe in a literal Satan, do you? There's no way. And yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because here's what I've come to learn. As far-fetched as that idea may sound, I learned two things about the devil. First of all, Jesus talked about the devil all the time. So if I'm going to say I'm a follower of Jesus, and if I'm going to say I subscribe to the teachings of Jesus, which is a very popular thing to say, I have to deal with his teachings about the devil. But here's the second thing, and this was really helpful. When I pictured the devil, I definitely wasn't picturing what Jesus was describing. When I picture the devil, I definitely wasn't picturing what Jesus is describing. We tend to imagine the devil like this. You got that photo for me? Can you hit that? Yeah, okay, so there we go. There's Will Ferrell as the devil. There's Kronk as the devil. Lil Nas is in there. South Park is in there. You know what I mean? We tend to imagine the devil like he's got a pitchfork and pointy ears, or he's really scary. And he'll jump out and bite you like Pennywise the Clown. Or he lives in Bowser's castle surrounded by lava. And I don't know if you knew this, but it was actually his birthday this weekend. That's why all those little kids were knocking on your door. It was his birthday. Anyway, I don't know why I think that's so funny. Anyway, sorry. Sometimes I just say jokes. I'm like, I don't think they're even going to like this, but I'm gonna say, it doesn't matter. If this is what you think of when you think of the devil, of course it feels incredibly far-fetched, right? If this is what comes to mind when you think of the devil, people have taken these ideas and they've drawn very superstitious conclusions, right? Some very outlandish conclusions and even some harmful conclusions. But this portrait of the devil, just so you know, doesn't even come close to getting at what Jesus describes and what the Bible itself describes when it talks about the devil. The best definition for the devil that I've ever heard comes from this guy named John Mark Comer. There's this book that helped me so much. This book is called Live No Lies by John Mark Comer. I'm going to be pulling a lot of his content today. I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in this topic. But here's what the author says. He says, listen, the devil is a real but immaterial intelligence whose end goal is to destroy life by transmitting lies. The devil is he's real, but he's immaterial, and he's an intelligence, he's a being. And his end goal is to destroy my life, destroy your life, destroy all life by transmitting lies. Now, I want to go through how the Bible itself describes the devil. You're going to find this a lot less superstitious than the video you saw on TikTok. So here's some descriptions of the devil in the Bible. The Bible calls him the thief, calls him the tempter, the destroyer, the deceiver. The Bible says he's a prowling lion looking for someone to devour. The Bible says he's the great dragon who deceives the whole world. The Bible says he's the ancient serpent who leads the whole world astray. What do all of these descriptions have in common? They are all descriptions of deception. According to Jesus, the devil is the one who transmits lies. That's the description. He is the one who transmits lies. Look what Jesus himself says about the devil. He says, the devil was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language. As easy it is for me to speak in English, that is how easy it is for the devil to speak lies. He speaks his native language when he lies, for he is a liar and he is the father of lies. I think a lot of times when we think of the devil, we think of like Swiper from Dora the Explorer. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. You've seen this hit show. That's how I learned Spanish. Anyways, like the idea is like I'm out going about through my day or whatever, and then out from some corner, right, comes the devil, like, and he's invisible or whatever. And he whispers into my ear and says, see that old lady? Punch her in the face. You know what I mean? And he's just trying to like tempt me to do like the worst possible thing. Or like for real, like the conception would be like I'm in my bedroom alone and the devil comes, whispers in my ear and says, look at pornography or look up something, super bad. And that is true. Like there are moments when the devil comes out and he tempts you, and that is a real reality. But I think we have this idea that there are some moments when the devil comes out and lies, and those are the moments when I feel dark, and those are the moments that I feel sad, and then he goes away and just hides in his cave. And what this is getting at is no. The devil is constantly transmitting lies. Those lies don't always feel dark. Those lies don't always feel spiritual. Those lies don't always make me feel sad. He's constantly trying to get me to believe anything that keeps me away from God. And the devil's greatest victories are not the moments when I think, oh man, I was tempted by the devil. The devil's greatest victories are when I don't detect what is happening at all. To quote The Usual Suspects, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. I like to think about it a little bit more this way. I like to think of the devil more like a radio transmitter. Or like a Wi-Fi router. With like a radio transmitter, a Wi-Fi router, what's happening? They're constantly transmitting a signal that you can't see, you can't detect, you can't feel, but your car picks it up, your phone picks it up, and in the same way, our minds pick it up. The devil is constantly trying to broadcast these frequencies of lies to get us to move away from God. Here's a question for you. What if your seemingly random thoughts are actually deliberate and strategic? What if your seemingly random thoughts are actually deliberate and strategic, put into your mind to lead you down a very specific path? Let me give you a list of examples. Why does it feel like your anxiety has a mind of its own? It's like those thoughts want to be in your head, as if they were placed in your head to prevent you from going down the life choices you need to make. Here's another one. Why is it as soon as you experience anything positive or you're around sincere people, your first instinct is to pick it apart, to criticize it? That can't be real. You're doing it right now. Like some of us are new. You walk into the church, you're picking it all apart. Probably because this is the place you need to be. Why is it that right before you work up the courage to do something good, an insecurity comes out of nowhere? Listen, I can talk about Jesus in front of thousands of people until I'm at the gas station and there's somebody that God lays on my heart And all of a sudden, I can't talk at all. You know what I mean? Why is it? Why is it as soon as I, pick up a Bible or try and talk to God or try and go to church, any distraction, all of a sudden I want to be on my phone? Why is it as soon as I get home and I should be present with my family, my mind cannot drop what's at work? Why is it as soon as you go to forgive someone, your brain immediately replays what they did to you and why they should be the one that apologizes first? Why is it that your trauma continues to haunt you and affect you even though that situation is well in the past? Where does the thought to kill yourself even come from? Everything we know about evolutionary biology tells us that our bodies are hardwired to protect ourselves, not harm ourselves. So where does the thought to kill myself, to harm myself, where does that thought even come from? And how come as soon as I tell you that Jesus loves you, your brain goes, he must love everyone else in this room, but he doesn't love me? What if these thoughts are strategic? They're not random. There's an intelligence who is intentionally trying to plant certain thoughts into my head to redirect my life. The devil's weapon of choice isn't a pitchfork, it's a lie. The constant broadcast of the same idea over and over and over again. Now, let's ask a very important question, because I actually think this is important to define. What is a lie? What is a lie? Well, a lie is the opposite of truth, right? The best definition of truth I've ever heard is that which corresponds to reality. Truth is that which corresponds to reality. Okay, so what is a lie? A lie is unreality. Here's a definition for you. A lie is your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions that do not match reality. Your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions that do not match reality. When I was a kid, so when my brother Gabe was probably, I want to say like 7 years old. He was like 7 years old. We would play this game where it would be like, Gabe, you're Superman, bro. You're Superman. And so he'd like punch us and we'd go flying. We're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. You're Superman. And he'd like shoot lasers out of his eyes. We'd be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I remember one time we were at my grandpa's house, and my grandpa, we were hanging out in his living room. He had like this big open living room. It was a nice day out, so all the windows were open. And so we're playing Superman with Gabe. And so we're like, oh, wow, Gabe, you punched me. Wow, that's incredible. And we just kept gassing him up. You're Superman. Well, eventually Gabe goes, Superman, and jumps headfirst out the window. He landed in a thorn bush. Right. Listen, my brother believed with all of his heart that he was Superman. He felt it to be true. It felt fundamentally right. He was trying to be like genuine and authentic, but he was wrong. And because he was wrong, he hurt himself. The devil knows that if you believe a lie, no matter how passionately you believe it, you will self-destruct. The devil doesn't have to stab you. The devil doesn't have to bite you. He just has to get you to believe something that isn't true. And if he gets you to believe something that isn't true, you will destroy yourself. This is why M. Scott Peck, the famous psychiatrist, and he's the author of The Road Less Traveled, if you've ever read that, M. Scott Peck defines mental health as an ongoing process of dedication to reality at all costs. Mental health is the ongoing process of dedicating myself to reality at all costs. Because the more I live in reality, the more mentally healthy I am. The devil doesn't have to destroy you. He just has to get you to believe a lie. So listen, what is insecurity at its core? It's a lie. What is pornography at its core? It's a lie. Why do you feel attracted to that person that you are not married to? What's going through your head? Well, I would be happier if. Wouldn't that be incredible? It's a lie. What is cheating? 1 in 5 married couples cheat on each other. What is cheating? It's a lie. Where does overworking come from? It's a lie that God is not going to provide for me, so I instead need to go out. And when I believe the lie of overworking, guess what? I put God to the side, and I put the burden all onto myself. Why do you feel right now that this conversation doesn't apply to you, that you completely believe all truth? That's a lie. It's strategic. Every bit of evil, every bit of sin, from the big to the small, starts with a lie. In fact, let me take it a step further. Find me an area of your life that you are unhappy with, and I will find you a lie that you believe to be true. Find me an area of your life that you're unhappy with, that you're unsatisfied with, that's broken, and I will find you a lie that you believe to be true. Now, this can be this is a very discouraging and overwhelming conversation to a lot of us. I know that. This can be a very hard conversation here. Why? Because what happens if I've based years and years of my life in lies that don't match reality? What happens if I go 10 years down a path and I don't realize that for the past 10 years I believe something to be? What happens if that's 20 years? What happens if that's 30 years? A couple years ago, my wife Sarah and I, we went to a pumpkin patch. I know, very unique of us, super cool. Anyway, we went to this pumpkin patch and we were there and they had this corn maze at the pumpkin patch that was clearly decorated for like little kids. And so, we look at it and the entrance had like a corn boy, he's smiling, feels weird. Anyway, he's like smiling, they have like a pumpkin girl and she's like smiling and you're like, okay, this is awesome, like really cool corn maze for 7-year-olds. And so we look at it, we're like, okay, what the heck, let's just do this. This will take 5 minutes, like this will be really fun. And so we enter into this maze, and as soon as we get into the maze, we immediately realize that the maze was significantly bigger than we expected it to be. And so we start taking turns, and then more turns, and we're walking, taking more turns and more turns and more turns. And like 20 minutes goes by. And at this point, I have no idea where the entrance even was, let alone where the exit. The corn boy and the pumpkin girl are long gone. We're like in the middle of this thing. And so we take another turn, and we realize that for the past 15 of the 20 minutes, we've just been going in the same circle over and over and over again. And so we see this family pass by, this family. And so I look at the dad, and I was like, hey, do you know where to go? And the dad looked like Tom Hanks in Castaway. You know what I mean? Like when you look into the eyes of a dad, and he's saying with his eyes, I'm more concerned than they are right now, but I'm trying to hold it, So I look at the dad, I'm like, hey, do you know the way out of here? And he's like, man, we've been in this maze for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know our way out of here. I was like, okay, well. So we keep going through the maze, and we can't find the exit. And suddenly I remember the plot of the hit 80s movie, The Children of the Corn. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is exactly how that started, like how this goes. So I look at Sarah, I'm like, hey, Sarah, if we see like a bunch of demon-possessed third graders, like you should probably just sacrifice yourself. You know what I mean? I feel, it's only fair. I've got a long life to live, plus you're gluten-free. So like 100 years ago, you wouldn't have even made it. Survival of the fittest, So we're thinking about it. And no, all joking aside, I'm pretty sure we were in this 5-minute kids maze for over an hour, which is a long time when you're in one of these things. And the only way we were able to get out of the maze is eventually I just started walking through the corn walls, which must have really freaked the kids out when I'm like, hey, so eventually we got out of this thing. Now, listen, that's all fine. We're adults, it's funny. It's a funny story. We got out, but after we got out of the corn maze, I remember Sarah and I were talking, and we're like, what if we were kids that just walked into that? Like, for real, who it was clearly marketed towards. What if the 5-year-old version of me had gone into that corn maze by myself? How would I have felt? I would have been terrified, for sure. I would have stopped in the middle of the corn maze and just started like crying for my dad or something like that. It would have been horrifying. Can I be real? Whether you're 5 years old or 85 years old, that's how most of us feel. At some point in your life, that's how I feel, that's how you feel. In every maze, there is a right path. And all of us have been fed lies that have caused us to take wrong turn after wrong turn after wrong turn. And I am living in the ramifications of my wrong turns. And we know that. I'm living in the ramifications of the lies that I believed true. Listen, when you were young, you were fed a lie about sleeping with that person, about that relationship, and that was a wrong turn. And whatever, that's a wrong turn when you're 16, but that wrong turn took you down a whole path. And now we're talking about years of self-esteem and years of broken relationships and years of a broken view of God. When you were in college, you were fed a lie that if I just work hard enough, if I just grind it out, if I just focus on this thing, get my degree, be financially responsible, get married, whatever, then I will be 35 years old and I will be satisfied. And now you're 35 years old and you found out it was a lie. And you look back on your life and you're like, well, that was 10 years. That was wrong turn after wrong turn. Let me talk to some of the men in this room. Can I talk to the men in this room? Some of you made a decision long ago to prioritize providing for your family over being with your family. And you were told that that's the right thing to do. Provide with your family over be with your family. And that seems like a great decision, but that was a wrong turn. And that wrong turn lasted 18 years. And now you're looking back on your relationship with your kids. And now you're looking back on your relationship with your family and you don't know what to do. I don't know what it is for you. That mistake was a wrong turn. Blowing up that relationship was a wrong turn. Not asking for help was a wrong turn. Keeping my struggle a secret was a wrong turn. Abandoning God was a wrong turn. And now all of us are living in the ramifications of those lies that we believe to be true. And so you can't help this feeling of it's too late for me. I was talking to this woman in her 60s. And I was talking about God, and we were having a whole conversation and whatever. And she looked at me and she said, Josiah, that's great for you. You're young. That's her view. That's great for you. You're young. But it's too late for me. I've made all of these decisions. I don't know how to come back home. I can't retrace my steps. If I could do it all over again, I certainly would, but I made too many mistakes. I believed too many lies. Now, everybody listen to me. The devil is called the father of lies. And one of his favorite lies, by the way, is that it's too late for you. It's one of his favorites. But can I tell you what Jesus calls himself? Because if you can get your head wrapped around what Jesus calls himself, this will change your life. This will be the most important truth that you can ever grapple with. Here's what Jesus says. Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Let me break that down. Jesus is the truth. He's the antidote to all the lies of the devil. The Bible says that Jesus came to destroy the work of the devil. He's the antidote. But Jesus is also the way. So Jesus is the way out of the mess that I've made, no matter how bad it is, no matter how catastrophic it is. And Jesus is also the life. Jesus is the life that you never had. Jesus is the redemption of the life that you think you've ruined. Jesus is the brand new start, no matter how old you are or what phase of life you're in. I just want everybody to do me a favor. Everybody close your eyes for a second. I just want us to imagine something. Everybody close your eyes. I just want you to picture something right now. Imagine you as a 5-year-old kid for a second. Just go back there. Imagine yourself as a 5-year-old kid. And imagine you got lost in a maze all on your own. No one's with you. You don't know where to turn. You don't know where to look. Maybe you start crying. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you just sit down and settle, whatever it is. But just imagine yourself right there in that moment. But now imagine that as you're sitting there in that moment, someone walks in to the corn maze. And this person feels warm. And this person feels safe. And you realize that the person walks in is Jesus. He's got this compassionate smile on his face. And you can see, just from looking into his eyes, you can see that he's been looking for you for a really, really long time. And so he stoops down to you and he looks right eye to eye with you. And he says, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Take my hand. Take my hand. And imagine you launch into your story. Jesus, I've ruined everything. I've ruined everything. I ran from you. I hurt those people. I've wasted years of my life. I don't know the way back home. I ruined everything. I don't know the way back home. But then Jesus stops you and he looks at you with the deepest kind of compassion and says, listen, it's okay. I am the way back home. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I don't tell you the way. I am the way. I don't show you the truth. I am the truth, which means you don't need to know your way out. You just need to know me. And then Jesus reaches out his hand and says, here's what I want you to do. I'm not going to tell you what directions to take out of here. We're not going to worry about the lefts and the rights. I just want you to do one thing. Just hold my hand and don't let go. That's it. One thing I want you to focus on. Just stay close to me. Just stay close to me. Just stay close to me. And slowly and steadily, Jesus leads you out of the maze. You can open your eyes, everybody. Everybody open your eyes. Listen, you don't need to know the way out. You just need to know Jesus. You don't need to know the way out. It's okay. You just need to know Jesus. No one is too far gone. You don't have a story that can't be redeemed. You might have destroyed your life, but when Jesus got on the cross, he destroyed his own life to give you his instead. It's going to be okay. All you need to worry about is one thing. Hold his hand. Stay close to him. When he goes left, you go left. When he goes right, you go right. And no matter how broken and lost you think you are, he can untangle you from any lie and any trap. And here's where I want to end. I just want to pray with two groups of people right now. I want to pray with two groups of people. The band's going to come up and get settled in. Everybody, let's pray together. So close your eyes, bow your heads. I want to pray with two groups of people. The first group of people I want to pray with is anyone in this room who is not a follower of Jesus. You don't have a relationship with God. Most of what I'm sharing with you right now is new information. If you have been living life away from Jesus, but you want a relationship with him, you want to take his hand for the very first time, what I want to do is I just want to lead you through a prayer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pray something, and then you just under your breath or in your heart, you just repeat it. Jesus doesn't care what you say. He just cares about the posture of your heart. So if you don't have a relationship with Jesus and you want to have one for the first time, just repeat after me with this, okay? First, Jesus, come into my life. I'm done with my own way. I'm done trying to decide what's best. You are the way, the truth, and the life. You died on the cross so I could be close to you. I'm taking your hand. I give you my life. And if you just prayed that prayer and you meant it, right now, today, in this moment, you would become a follower of Jesus. Jesus lives inside of you. And it's going to take a long time to figure out exactly how to walk with him, but right now you will start walking with him. Now here's the second group of people I want to pray with. I know there's a lot of people in this room who are followers of Jesus. But you have let go of Jesus' hand and wandered off at some point. He's never stopped chasing you, but you've wandered away from him. And what I want to do is I just want to give you an opportunity to pray, to come back to God, to trust him again, to walk with him again. So if you have wandered away from God and you want to come back home, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you a phrase, you repeat it, okay? Jesus, I'm sorry. I've run away from you. But I know that you died for my mistakes, and I know that I'm always forgiven because of it. Jesus, I'm coming back to you. Hold me close. Show me what's true. Guide my life. And teach me how to listen. I love you, but you love me so much more. Now I'm just going to pray for everybody, and we're going to go into a time of worship. Jesus, I just pray that all of us can sincerely be open to you. God, show us the parts of our life and the parts of our heart that don't believe what you say to be true. And show us how to really trust that and really walk with you in a real way. God, I pray that during this time of worship, you would speak to us exactly what we need to hear. You love us so much. And God, I ask that there's not a single person in this room that wouldn't see how deeply you love us. I ask this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
good it works. If you started, you'll complete it. I'll take you at your word. Is a lamp unto my feet. Your way is the only way forward. It's a narrow road that leads to life, and I wanna be on it. It's a narrow road, but the mercy's wide, 'cause you're good on your promise. I take you at your word. You said it, I believe it. I've seen how good it works. If you started, you'll complete it. I take you at your word. In the chaos fell. I know, 'cause I've seen it in my life. It's a narrow road that leads to life, and I wanna be on it. Oh, it's a narrow road, and the tide is high, but you part the waters. I take you at your word.
love it, man. Like we said at the very beginning of this, guys, we want to help you connect outside of this room. So if anything that all throughout the service you have questions on, you want to connect about what Josiah was talking about, if you made a decision today, we want to help connect with you. So talk with the people that you like, that brought you, that you came with. If you don't have somebody to talk to, we have leaders out in the lobby that would love to connect with you. I'll be out there too. But do not leave without taking the chance to talk to somebody. Thank you so much. If this was your first time here, do not forget to grab your gift out in the lobby by the info desk. I'll be hanging out near there so you can come and say hey to me or anybody else out in the lobby. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for taking this time, and we'll catch you on the flip. Peace.